Here's a wooden aerial hoop or Lyra rig build that we did for a customer. Materials list is 5 2 by 10 by 12 foots, 2 4 by 6 by 12 footers, and then a ton of metal bracketing hardware and bolts. You see we've got one cut and already laminated two together, bolted to the playhouse. They want it to come off the end. You can see that partial one laying there on the ground. Here is the header beam for it. The issue with a aerial hoop, or at least with silks, you can generate up to 2,200 pounds of active force on that top rig. So we needed to make a wooden beam strong enough to support that potential activity. And according to all the math figures I could find online, that was going to be 4 2 by 10 by 12s laminated together to get over that 12 foot. Here is our support legs. They're 2 4 by 6 by 12 footers. And yes, you can see that the saw did go through right there, but it does not go all the way through. It goes about a third of the way through. That's just some dust and shadow making it look deeper than it is. And with so many metal braces, I was not worried about that being an issue long term. And we did fill it with wood glue and sawdust to make a filler. So here we've got some temporary legs thrown up on there, and then I used Pythagorean theorem to figure out how long I needed that back rope to be to stop it from falling over, because I did not trust those legs. The hitch being about 18 inches above the ground kind of threw me off a couple inches on my length, but that's okay. It still caught it. And then from here, we're putting out temporary support legs so we can take these ropes back down. We're just kind of leveling it out, adjusting that distance so that, when I put that beam in there, I don't have to try to lift the whole thing up and move it any further than I already wind up having to do, which is just an inch or two of adjustment. But I'd much rather an inch or two of adjustment with those heavy legs and that heavy beam than several feet of adjustment. And then here we're going ahead and taking down these ropes, rigging up some pulleys on a piece of deck board, or rigging up a pulley on a deck board. That way we can use it to lift that beam up. Because this beam weighs a couple hundred pounds, there was no way I was going to be able to lift this beam above my head 12 foot into the air, 12 foot long. We're rigging up a pulley on that side. I did wind up changing my mind on where I mounted that pulley a couple of times and kept having to change. There's a platform bolted to the bottom of that beam on the playhouse, so all we had to do was set it on that platform. And then, of course, there's the bird's mouth on the other end, so we could set that on there. And then running that pulley was a lot of just me pull it up, tie it off, go to the other side, pull it up, tie it off. I did get it up, you'll see here in just a sec, and then realized I screwed up and needed to go, this is where it is. I didn't leave myself enough room to go into that, and there was no way I could heft the rest of it up and over my head, so I had to lower it back down, slide it into the bird's mouth first, and then do this to get in and around the rest of the supports here. But now that we've got it in, we can start doing some rough screw-ins and everything to hold it into place before taking up the two other sides of this beam. That way we didn't have to lift the entire beam up at once. So now we've got it in, but now we've got to go through and undo that support bracket for the legs so that we can move the legs in and out towards each other and away from each other to level up that top beam so that there's no slope down to either end. And then attach it back on, bolt that beam on, and put all of our metal brackets that go on both sides and the bottom. And here we've got it complete. We have a roofing tin top piece put on there to stop rain from getting in the laminated joints that are all glued and screwed together. You can see our support brace here on the end, and the Lyra hung up and mounted. And I took my 200-pound self and bounced on it and could not get it to fall. So I think we're pretty good. Hope y'all liked this build. If you want to see more of this kind of content, then go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you liked the video, then hit that like button. And if you have any questions at all about this build, feel free to hit that comment button and let me know. I'll try to answer any and every comment that I get. Y'all have a good one.